I'm filming K.O.S. trying to do this rail. So we figured we'd take Eric here and he could try to backside 50 it, but it's kind of a high rail for him to get on.
Street skating wouldn't look cool if it was in the middle of a field, a bunch of plywood and a homemade, ready to skate rail. That's just perfect. You never know what you're gonna feel like when you try, or when you show up to something like this.
Now back to the syncopated style.
He sits there and talks to the rail. Like he'll start talking, start speaking in tongues. Like he's just. I think he's one with himself sometimes when he's trying stuff.
Probability of me getting hurt percentage is pretty high. Or there's always a factor of ending up on your crotch. That's always a factor when it comes to handrails. Especially the ones that are high. If your feet can't touch on one side or the other, the only thing that's going to support you is your balls.
This is Michael O'Mealy. He's a judge and a photographer, an editor for Skateboarder magazine. And O'Mealy, yes. We're talking a little bit about K.O.S, right. And I'm going to tell you what I think, and then you can dilly-dally and say what you've got to say as well. But I'm going to claim, this is my claim, you can quote me on this, K.O.S is the best street skater in the world. And that's what I think about that. What do you think, O'Mealy?
I kind of agree with you.
Is that all you'd say about him?
Yeah, definitely.
That's it? Well then, if that doesn't wrap it up for you, because it doesn't wrap it up for me, you should watch this.
K.O.S was born 27 years ago in Bangkok, Thailand. Today, living in LA, he is regarded as the best street skater on the planet.
K.O.S is, honestly, he's above and beyond everybody else.
I got the crowd gathered around like it's fight night. Minor leaguer, stay at home with your night. Likewise, I'm quite tight. They seen it, Gary knows how to rock the mic. Right, I get it right, and the truth. That
the guy can do anything he wants to do. He can manipulate his skateboard any way he wants to.
Like even the things that he does that are hard, you can tell they're just so easy. It's not hard to him. Nothing's hard to him.
If you want to go technical, he can hang with everyone that's technical. He can do everything that they can do, but he can do it a little bit bigger and a little bit cleaner, more style, less amount of tries. It's kind of depressing watching K.O.S skate because you know you'll never be that good.
Let me take you back to the day when MCs were short and rap.
Well, I grew up skating everything, actually. But like back when I started, everybody skated everything. It was kind of, it wasn't just street or wasn't just vert. You would go, you skated everything.
Winning both the X and Gravity Games in 2001 put K.O.S on top of the street skate contest world. But most of his mark has been made in the visual media of photos and video.
Yes, LP. That rocks fresh, LP.
You don't notice people skating for their style nowadays a lot. It's like just how gnarly they are, or what trick, the hardest trick they've done. I remember like just wanting to be like, when I'm starting, I wanted to look like this guy because his style was so cool.
You pack the group that cause confusion. Brothers might check one, but can't get with twos, and I take levels of the trouble. Embrace the bass and grab hold of a still and come face to face. Silly mortals coming through portals, yapping at their lip.
Sometimes things work out, or if it feels good, you could try something. And sometimes it's like, get the camera the hell away from me. I don't even want to deal with it right now. I want to just cruise around and slap you a little red curb. And when you do film all the time, you don't get to do that. You don't get that the satisfaction of just kind of cruising around skating.
Unfortunately, Eric ran into problems acquiring a permit at his primary location. He'd be forced to scramble and settle for an unaccommodating multi-kink rail.
The streets have their own way of telling a story.
street skating wouldn't look cool if it was in the middle of a field, a bunch of plywood and a homemade, ready-to-skate rail. That's just perfect.
Niggas with hepatitis, unauthorized, hard to move, arthritis, infected, selected, neglected, rejected, and next time you hit the West, you the best motherfucker.
I think Eric is one of the most critical skateboarders out there. He looks at every crack, every little pebble, every little kink in the rail.
Only X I know's exhibit a RBX extraordinary. Trying to snap.
He'll roll up to something and look at it and analyze it like for an hour before he'll even try it. And once everything's right and ready, then he'll finally do it.
It's a good reality check right there. I gotta figure this out real fast. High. Probably by the time I get here, if I'm not standing, it'll just pitch. You won't even be on the rail anymore. That's why I'm not trying to go too fast. When you go slow, you have to get up where it's higher. Then it's harder for you to actually stand up. Because by the time you're up there, you'll probably be squatting like this, and there's no way to balance like that. And by the time you hit the first kink, if I'm like this, board's gonna go that way, and I'll probably end up wrapping my legs around the rail and smacking my head on the floor. Oh. Dirt doesn't work.
The thing with street skating, sometimes you might find a spot as you're driving by and it might look real good, but it turns out when you get up close, it sucks.
Shit does not feel good.
Eric was frustrated and over it, and stuck with the question of what to do next.
I don't know. Obviously something has to get done, and has to get done soon. I'm just not quite sure what. Just trying to do it without hurting myself.
Yeah.
There's a triple set of stairs in Santa Monica right next to the pier. So I just figured I had enough people in my car, to cover it. I didn't want to bring the rest of the crew just to come down and me go, nah, just go ahead and drive home. I came over here and just decided to give something a try, see how I felt. Windy because it's right here next to the coast, and when you flip your board in the wind, it can be inconsistent. Anything that's long, you gotta go fast, and when you're going fast, you can't really run out of things at that height and distance. You just kind of gotta take a tumble.
Watch out.
So far, I've seen a bunch of vert dudes jump and stuff, and I wasn't really sure how that was going to go, who could win and who could lose out of that. And now that you've switch heel flipped a triple set, I have no idea what any judge is going to do or who's going to win or who's going to get last. I'm out of the loop. I have no idea anymore.
This is kind of how I get my work done, I guess. For street skating, it's like you got to go and find a spot. You got to, try and
we couldn't make it out of wood for you?
I guess it wouldn't look as good. It wouldn't feel right.
It would suck, is what you really want to say. It would
probably suck. This says a lot about what we have to do to go film street tricks for a video part and all that.
I just want to say thanks for coming and thanks for going down that, because I'm not going to.
Okay.
See you later.